Okay, so good morning, Amanda. Nice to see you this morning. And yeah, so I'm speaking with Amanda Granger this morning, who has very recently just joined the Applica team, actually, with me here, but was previously for 3 years looking after sixth form admissions for Midsomer Norton School, which is, they're part of a trust, aren't they?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in the sixth form, we've got 3 different sites. So we kind of manage all 3 under the one umbrella. So it's quite busy for admissions, yeah.
Hmm. Excellent. So yeah, so we're going to cover some information about enrolment day specifically. So to start off, what were the biggest challenges that you found at your school for enrolment day?
I think before we had Admissions Plus, I think the sheer volume of distributing the results and the number of students that we had to see. So we'd spend a couple of days beforehand getting all the envelopes together. So in their envelopes, they would have their results, and then they'd have a letter saying whether they'd got into all their courses, whether they'd got into some. So there was a lot of mail merging and making sure that everybody had the right letter in the right envelope. And then on the actual day, a lot of students wanted to see us, or parents wanted to see us. And I think before Admissions Plus, parents weren't as confident or as sure about what the process entailed. So they weren't necessarily sure what to do next. And I don't think the students really knew what to do next, how to accept their place and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so on enrolment day itself, what was your process like before you had Admissions Plus and you were running it more on a sort of, I guess, a non-digital process?
Mm. So the day before results day, when we would get all the results in, that would be put into a spreadsheet, and then we would just work out from that spreadsheet who'd got into which courses, different things like that. And that would take probably all morning to kind of decipher who'd got into different things before we could just upload their results. So I think that would take a large part of the day, and then we'd kind of be really pushed for time in the afternoon. Probably 4 or 5 of us would be putting all the mail merged letters into the right envelopes and making sure that we knew who we needed to see the next day. But it was a hell of a lot of paper and a lot of time and organising. Yeah.
Yes, quite a paper-based process. Yeah.
And then on the actual day, we would have obviously all the students would come in to collect their envelopes. So then they would, and they weren't always clear whether, because they've got a letter saying, yes, you've got the requirements, did they need to do anything else? Or so a lot of them would kind of hang around and join the queue to see us, even if they didn't really need to. And same with parents, if they were there, they'd want to come and talk to us and just kind of clarify, or if they wanted to swap courses or different things. So there was a lot of people on results day as well, so that would usually take most of the day to get through all the people that wanted to see us. Yeah.
Right, so they'd all come into the school on the day to see you in person. Yeah. So in Admissions Plus, obviously we have a special enrolment day functionality, and obviously I know that you're familiar with using these, but we have the 3 main areas of details to be checked: ready to enroll when students are ready, and then enrolled once they get to like the end of that process. So first of all, could you explain a little bit about how you actually used the details to be checked area when you were doing this in school?
Yeah, so I actually used it kind of backwards to what I think a lot of schools use it. But what I did was do the enrolment process beforehand. So in this last half term, I would do the enrolment form, customize that, and send it out with all our consents and policies. Because where I was talking before about the envelopes, we'd have all of our probably 7 or 8 different forms, all on different coloured paper, and they would go in the groups as well. And then the students would need to get those signed and bring them back in on the first day. So what I did with our enrolment form was kind of spend this last half term where they've pretty much finished year 11, and I think they knew more what they wanted to do. So we would I would do that form, and then they would kind of come in steadily, and I could go through them as they came in. So you know, you can filter them by internals and externals, and they're color coded. So on obviously only on predicted grades at the moment. But what I did with them is confirm their details, which was the students' details, the parents, I think the support information I asked them to confirm, and the consents and policies. So once they'd got through those steps of the enrolment form, they'd come into details to be checked, like you said. And then you just kind of confirm them, but I left them in ready to enroll. So I didn't confirm any courses at that point. So what I found though, doing it that way, is that a lot of the students, so like I mentioned, we've got 3 different sites. So when they applied, a lot of students would apply to all 3, or they might apply to us and a college, or to us and somewhere else.
Yes.
And I found that asking them to do the enrolment form at this stage, most of them had narrowed down where they wanted to go. So we actually had not a lot that withdrew, but it kind of took a lot of pressure off results day, because at this stage they were saying, actually I'm going to college, or actually I'm doing an apprenticeship, or they wanted to change their courses at this stage because they'd done all their exams and they'd had, you know, almost another year in school from when they applied. So it kind of really consolidated who was doing what, and it enabled us to really check everybody's details before results day. So it took a lot of pressure off.
Yeah. So you basically, the ones that were left, you knew they were going to be moving on with your school and staying on for sixth form. Yeah. Right. So did you use the ready to enroll area then after that?
Yeah. So that bit, I did the day before results day, which honestly made it so much easier. It was just a completely different day, you know, we finished by lunchtime and we were just like, oh, that's it, okay.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So because we already had their achieved results in Sims, we just imported the whole lot, or we could use the spreadsheet, you know, whichever. We've done both. So so that way we knew who was going into which courses. So what we did then was just I think we just ordered them alphabetically or something, and went through. One person had one laptop and we said, right, this student, and they said, yeah, into all 3, and we just went tick, 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 and that, you know, they were in. Next person into those 2, but not that one, you know. And then as we went through, so you can filter by color. So if you wanted to filter the green ones, you know, we could do all of the students who'd got into all their courses and put them into a group, which made it a lot easier on results day. So I put them into 3 different groups, which is the equivalent really of the mail merges that we used to do.
Yes.
So I'd put them into a group of the students who'd got into all their courses, ones who'd got into some, but we needed to see them about the others, and then some who hadn't got the entry requirements at all, and obviously offered them to see the careers advisor and whatever else. So yeah, so we had everybody sorted really the day before results day, because they'd already enrolled, and we knew at that point that because they'd done all the consents and policies, we knew that if we made them an offer, we'd already got everything sorted. Whereas before in September, you know, I was always trying to chase the forms, and then you've got the risk of setting someone up with an IT account and having them on site when they haven't actually agreed to all your policy. So it was a big weight off as well to get all of that done before results day.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense that way around. Yeah.
Yeah. So the ready to enroll bit was literally just, you know, tick, tick, tick into their courses, and they were done. So yeah, that saved a lot of time on the day before results day.
Right. So once you'd completed up to that stage and the students enrolled, was there anything that you did at your school to sort of finalize that process, or once you'd made the offer, I guess the student just accepted it? Was that the end of the cycle for you?
Yeah, that was literally it. So once everybody was in those 3 groups, the day before results day, I made the 3 email templates.
Mhm.
And then just, I think I might have scheduled it, or I might have just done it at 8 o'clock in the morning on results day. But because of the embargo the day before, everything was set up and ready. And it was literally a case of sending out the offer. So, all you do is go into the application groups, you select the whole of the group and
Right.
say, make offer, or and then went on to the next group and selected the whole of that group and just chose a different template for the offer.
Mhm.
So I sent them a slightly different offer that said, can you contact us to discuss, maybe choosing a different course or something.
Yes.
And then obviously the ones who were in the third group, just sent them the email template saying, how to get advice and different options, because they hadn't made it into sixth form. So it was so much less stressful. And on results day then, we just kind of, it was amazing to just watch them all accept, and you just had them all pinging through, and it's like, oh, 50 accepted, oh, 100's accepted, and they just kind of roll in, and you weren't you weren't doing anything, and they're all just accepting these offers. So that was really cool to
That's
watch.
nice to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Mm.
And then we only had, so I think we had like a video call open that I just triaged. So the ones that we'd sent the second offer to, they just called into a general video call that I had on.
Yeah.
And I just took their name and number and asked the head of sixth form or the deputy to call them straight back. And we just kind of managed it like that. But there were so few of them because the only ones who were contacting us were the ones that we needed to speak to. So yeah, it was a lot less, and yeah, just so much less stressful. Everything was really.
That sounds very organized. Yeah. So did you find, obviously you've mentioned the email templates, did you use the platform for other elements of communication with either, well, with the students themselves, I guess at sixth form, but also with the parents? And if so, how did you use that area?
Yeah, well, literally all the way through. So I think from the very beginning, when they had their welcome email, I sent the students the welcome email, and then also sent the parents an email just saying they've been given a login, this is what they need to do. And then that kind of just carried on all the way through. And what I found was that the parents felt so much more involved because they actually knew what was going on. We emailed out quite early on in the process and said, by the deadline to apply is December, and then by such and such we'll schedule interviews. By this time you'll have your interview date, and by this time you'll have your provisional offer, all that kind of thing. So we laid out the process for them, and then we just kind of made sure that we emailed them about every, I don't know, month, every 6 weeks, something like that, just to say this is, or every time we completed a part of the process and said, right, the majority of you have done this now, this is what we're going to do next. So, and I think having those updates partly just really, help the parents to feel in control. And I think also they had a port of call, so they knew my name before they even joined the sixth form, so they knew who the person was to talk to, because they were getting these emails come out and they could just click reply and go, oh, and I found that they'd reply to emails about the admissions process, and they just apply and ask, random questions about buses or anything else, because they had a name, and I think it just made them feel, I think it really eased the transition for them.
Yes. I think it's,
yeah,
as
really
a parent, it's nice to know what the next sort of piece in the puzzle is going through a process like this, especially when it's your first child, maybe going into sixth form or going into senior school when they're in year 7, just to know what's the next stage is sort of very reassuring. Yeah,
exactly. And I think also with the sixth form age, they're all like 15, 16, and they're thinking about their GCSEs and things. So it was really handy to copy parents in and, on the reminders and say, your son or daughter should really have done this by now. And,
they may have forgotten.
And also the other way around, that I'd get emails or phone calls and say, I know that they were supposed to have done this a couple of weeks ago, can you just check they've done it? They're not very communicative, or they say they've done it and I don't believe them. So and it's so easy to just check where the student is in the process. So I think that really think it just kept communication open, really.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I can totally see it from the parents' side, it being very helpful, but also from the point of view of being in school, that it's streamlining, removing some of the admin. So yeah, and speeding up the process. So overall, what would you say were the main benefits? Obviously, we've outlined, well, you've spoken about several, but what was the sort of the real key benefit for you during that time in August?
I think specifically in August, I think the time and the manpower
Mhm.
that we saved, I think that's just invaluable, and the level of stress, because it's such an important time for those kids and their parents.
Yes.
It's there's a lot of pressure on the sixth form to make sure that it all goes smoothly, and to make sure
Mhm.
that the kids feel supported, and that the parents feel involved, and that everybody knows what's going on. I think it really gives a good first impression of the sixth form,
Mhm.
because I think they felt involved and they felt part of it, and like I say, they had a name, and they knew that somebody knew what was going on and knew how to help them with stuff. So
Yes.
I think that was really valuable to put across that professional image, as
Mhm.
their first impression of the sixth form.
Yes.
Um,
And then at the end, I guess, did you transfer all the information then into Sims?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, which again just saved so much time, not having to put all the kids in all the courses and all, on Sims. It's just an export, and that's it.
Yes, and they're in. Yeah. Excellent. Well, that's so interesting. Thank you, Mando. It's very useful to speak with other schools because it helps schools that are looking to use obviously Admissions Plus with Sims, and especially for Enrolment Day. We've got lots of schools looking at it for Enrolment Day. So it's great to have your insight. Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
Thank you.